Chad, it's not me and Graham's theme song. It's our theme song together. Our opening playbook together. We figured we spent enough time. We built the community. We deserve a theme song. So think of it as your theme song, not just our theme song. All right. I have a bet. Kevin, Matt, Roger, Stacy, Speedy. Good morning.
Nate, does my logo that I made on Canva, is it backwards or is it forwards for you?
No, it's regular for us. It's only backwards for you because you're seeing the reverse.
Oh, cool. What a nice little logo. Is my background black for it?
Your whole background is black, yeah, like very
Wow.
dark black.
Nice.
You look like a shadowy figure. Morning, Des. Morning, RJ. RJ wants to know if we get royalties for the opening playbook theme song. If it becomes a worldwide hit and Graham and I collect royalties, we'll share them evenly with our opening playbook audience
I think you mean when it becomes
when it
worldwide.
becomes a
Yeah.
worldwide
When we're
hit.
number one on Spotify.
Yes, yes, indeed. Uh, but no, it is great. So the truth is, that song was done by AI by one of our team members, Amanda. She had figured out, I don't know, one of those crazy AI tools because there's so many. And she's like, oh, I put together a couple like theme songs and sent them to us. And to be honest, when I first got the message, I thought I'm not even gonna waste my time listening to some silly AI thing. And then Graham told me, he's like, hey, Nate, he's like, you gotta listen to it. It's actually really good. So I'm back. I'm like, oh wow, that's actually unbelievably good. And so we thought it was pretty cool. And like we said, everyone deserves a theme song. I mean, opening playbook has become, I think, one of the coolest things that I get to be a part of. I think one of the really cool things that our company does, just in terms of trying to provide as much free value as possible. So we're always trying to take it up a notch.
Heck yeah. All right, let me get my screen situated and the chat open here. The markets, oh my word. I posted in Telegram that 60-minute income signal that we've been trading. Yesterday was a loser. I'm going to walk you through it. Today is a stinking mammoth. Here it is.
Yeah, market is moving. I mean, it's funny because obviously now you're starting to look at these short time frames, and it's a very different animal when you start getting on these couple minute charts when the market goes from point 0.3 to point 0.5. It's like you know, looks like it's ripping. Whereas I'm used to not even like worrying about, 0.1, 0.2%.
Yeah, this is super awesome. Yeah, now I did say yesterday was a loser. Yeah, I'm going to break that one down for you guys. And kind of give you a cool little insights that we found. We've been working this strategy, polishing it up. It's been incredible this year. It's been incredible. I tested it back, Nate, since the inception of the SPX. It was like an 83% win rate over the last 22 or 12 years. That is 12 years. Yeah. 2013 or so.
Yeah.
So just
Well,
absolutely remarkable.
obviously, I'm a big fan of that kind of confirmation because if people ask me like, what do I like to trade? My first answer is I like momentum. I like trying to, not try to guess when something's going to change direction, but follow something that's already moving. And what an incredible confirmation of how powerful momentum is going back, over a decade and seeing just literally as the market starts moving, how much confidence you gain following its lead.
Yeah. So that's fun. We'll keep talking about that. Of course, I did post it in Telegram. So you better be in Telegram if you want to keep getting these updates as fast as I can send them to you. I'm a pretty busy guy, so I'm trying to share it with you guys as much as I can along the way. But let me $1.
Speaking of Telegram, I wanted to post that I originally had like 125% ROI trade, but I went pretty aggressive and I put together a 354% ROI trade. And so I went to post it in Telegram and I just realized I accidentally posted 3,554% threw an extra five in there as I was typing. So hopefully I don't disappoint anyone. It's a 354% ROI trade for July. Not 3,554%. That might be a little extreme. I just realized I had a typo in my Telegram, but hopefully 354% is still exciting. Uh, Frank, we cannot give you the $1 link because we raised the price to $9.97 for opening. No, I'm just kidding. It's still $1. Deanna's posting it in there right now. So of course it'll always be $1. It's just meant to be the minimum amount of transaction to, have people get in there and get all those extra resources. Speaking of which, I'm going to try to get that calculator finished up today or Monday. A couple little things I noticed that I need to clean up with duration and some other stuff to get it fine tuned, and then we'll have that in the Opening Playbook VIP area as well. By the way, Graham, I got several emails about that session yesterday. People like pretty blown away by the profit factor discovery, including me, by the way. I still kind of knocking my head against the wall, thinking how did I just immediately believe that makes so much sense? For every dollar you lose, how much do you make? Just makes total sense. Never even questioned it until started going down a little bit of a deep dive there.
We'll have to do it here again in a couple of weeks. Probably get some new faces in here and blow their minds too. I still haven't. I was still working, Nate, on trying to find the perfect apples to apples comparison ratio. Last night, I can't find it. Well,
there's a couple. I got a couple interesting emails. One of them was from Kent. Kent said that his favorite metric, or one that he likes to use and file everything out to, is percent per day ROI, which I thought was a pretty good one. If you could boil everything down to how much you make per day, all that. Yeah, Matt, I edited it now, but because I realized it said 3,554. I just edited it like 5 minutes ago. But yeah, I thought percent per day might be an interesting one if you could boil everything down to that. So a couple different ideas we've had.
Here, I'll just run through it real quick. Just a teaser. I'm not going through the whole thing. But I saw we had some people here in the chat asking what discovery. I'm just going to ask you this, and I'm going to show you the end result, and then I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger to go watch yesterday's recording if you want to. So which trader makes more money is the question. Trader 1 with a 99% win rate, or Trader 2 with a 60% win rate? And yesterday, you guys were pretty spot on the ball and said, well, 99 win rate sounds great, but there's not enough information. And you are right about that. Win rate means absolutely nothing. So anyone who says, I've got a 90% win rate, I'm better than the guy who only wins 50% of the time. Not true. Not necessarily true. You got to know more information. But now, when I put in this and ask you guys which trader makes more money, at the end of the day, Trader 1, 99% win rate, 4.95 profit factor, or Trader 2 with a 60% win rate and only 1.5 profit factor. If you weren't here yesterday, post in the chat, which trader makes more money? Well, here we go. All ones, all ones. Let me go ahead and jump down to the end results. So 495 profit factor, way, way better. But at the end of the day, these are the numbers they have to hit to get these metrics. 5% average winner, 3% average return, 100% average winner, 20% average return. Trader 2, after 100 trades, same starting stake, makes 5 times the amount of cash. The guy with the 60% win rate and 1.5 profit factor makes 5 times more money than the guy with the 99% win rate and 495 profit factor. So in yesterday's class, we broke down that profit factor and win rate actually mean absolutely nothing when talking about overall profitability. Return size matters. You want to know what the average return is to compare. So pretty crazy stuff to me. Because I've always been taught the higher the profit factor, the better the strategy. Well, I would rather be Trader 2. I'd rather have 20 grand than 3 grand or 4 grand. We'll round up for him. Pretty nuts. Anyways, like I said, I'm not going to spend the whole class on that today. You can go watch yesterday's recording if you want to see that full breakdown and how shocking it really is. But today, we're going to cover a few things. We're going to fly around. First thing I'm going to do is break down the 60-minute income trade, which I've already had some questions here in the chat. We got calls posted this morning. They are already up 25, 30%. It's flipping around for me. Our target is 50% each and every morning. They are rocking and rolling, cruising. Normally, we hit our profit target before lunchtime. So the thought is place your trade right around 10. Bam, auto target hit, hopefully. Hopefully, hit by lunchtime. And Joe, actually, let me answer this. Joe says I didn't consider the average loser. Well, Joe, let's take a look here. This is the average return. So that's average of winners and losers. So yes, I did consider the average loser. This is just the average. So if I were to add a bucket here, average loser, just assume both, take losses. There you go, Joe. That answers your question. So again, profit factor meant nothing at the end of the day. All right, back to this. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there. So we'll break down the 60-minute income trade for you here. It's cruising right along this morning, taken many trades on it, and we've been just trying to polish it up. I mean, we had a raw strategy. We found some data that said 76% of the time when the opening market candle is green, there's a continuation pattern in the market where 76% of the time the markets finish higher that day, and also when it's red, 76% of the time markets finish lower that day. So we took that little nugget and then we've been breaking it down, trying to figure out the best way to trade it each and every day. And I think we've got that right now with the 60-minute income trade. And we did have a little blip yesterday that I'm going to walk you through and show you how we resolved it. Then we're going to give you the number one options trade for July. I'm going to give you my pick. Nate's going to give you his pick. And then we're going to talk about what you can do today to trade this weekend with a little cool strategy that's had a perfect win rate so far. Now, before we get going, I do have to show you this. You guys know this. There's going to be winners and losers in every strategy. I have losers. I had a loser yesterday. I lost $1,000 on the 60-minute income trade. Posted it in Telegram to show you, but I'm going to walk you through today how that probably should have been a winner. With that said, we're going to walk through a strategy today that's had a 94% win rate, average winner of 26%. You don't need a big account to get started with this. This is the weekend trade we're going to talk about in a bit. 8 for 8, 100% win rate on live trades so far. And we're going to try and keep that going. Obviously, winners and losers, be smart. Don't go all in. Don't risk everything you have on one single trade. So today, let's start with breaking down and polishing the 60-minute income trading. So again, let me show you how it works briefly. You can ignore Newton at the bottom. That's just on my charts. But in short summary, we want to take the first 15 minutes of the day, that 15-minute trading range, and just see, are the markets going to break above it or below it before 10:30? Typically, if we get a break above that price, like you see here where it says buy calls, break above that range, markets continue higher. If we get a break below, continues lower. And we usually hit our target in about 60 minutes. Now, it's not always 60 minutes. We had one hit in 37 minutes, one hit in 12 minutes, and some that have taken 90 minutes, and others that haven't hit until 3 p.m. But on average, typically, we're seeing it hit in about 60 minutes or before lunchtime. And so far, it's pretty killer. Here's our stats so far from 2025. 86% win rate, which is awesome. But again, that doesn't mean anything. But if we look at the average return on options, and keep in mind, this is a one-day hold, 30% a day on average. Our target's 50%, and when we lose, we take a full loss. And that's fine because, again, we're winning so much. Our average return is absolutely bonkers. And I threw the cager in there too yesterday after yesterday's class. The compounded annual growth rate is just an insane number right now. Now, this is only 2025. I did backtest it all the way to 2013, and it was about the same stats. I think it was 83% win rate, and the rest of the stats were about the same. So really, really cool strategy that we've been working on. Now, here's some recent trades we did. I sent this one out. This was an opening playbook last Friday. Paid in 37 minutes, hit our automated target there, and you can see breaks down below the opening range, continuation pattern. Here was one we had on Monday, I believe. We had a entry right here. Again, continuation higher from the opening range. Hit our target really, really fast in this one. And I put this X here because we were already out of the trade. It hit our automatic target. We're out. Markets ended up going lower from there. It didn't really matter to me because I was out of the trade, money in the bank. Now, the markets did finish higher from here. Either way, it doesn't matter because we're trying to get that target right away just off that opening range continuation pattern like you're seeing today on your charts. Here was another one we had. This one got filled about 1 p.m. on the automated exit. But you can see here, buy puts, continuation pattern lower. So this one, again, Normally we're trying to get our target right about lunchtime. This one hit about 1 p.m. I can't complain. I was on a call and heard my thinkorswim go tring, and I knew what that meant. Pulled it up and said, "Wow, nice." So let's take a deep dive into what happened yesterday. I just showed you some awesome winners. Obviously, we've been crushing it, right? Well, yesterday, oh no, I actually position sized up. I said I'm starting to go with $1,000 stake each day to try and hit that $500 target. And of course, the first day I doubled my position sizing. It was a loser. So you can see there, I took a loss. I told you at the beginning, winners and losers are part of the game. So here's proof of that yesterday. 100% loss, $1,000 coughed up. So question is, we're trying to polish this up right now. What went wrong with the trade? What could we have done better? Well, first off, and I think this is a very, very, very important point. Just because there's a loser does not mean something went wrong, right? All of my strategies take losers. That doesn't mean I'm going to tweak the strategy each and every time there's a loser. We take these trades knowing that there will be losers along the way, but over the long haul, it's very, very profitable. So with any strategy, there's winners and losers. Just because you take a losing trade doesn't mean you have to pull up your journal and change everything you do. You have to go into every single trade knowing that some are going to lose, but if you stick with it, it can be profitable. But in this instance, because we're looking to continually fine tune the 60-minute income strategy, we did do some digging. Thanks to Cynthia, I hope you're here. She emailed me in at grahamtradestocks@gmail.com. Feel free to do the same. Jason's been emailing me as well. Cynthia noted that, and it was cool, she's been using AI, Nate, like we've been teaching in here to do this. She did a little back test using ChatGPT to see how can we increase some win rate? How can we get better? And so she found that using the 20-minute range instead of the 15-minute range, the win rate actually increases. So I've been using the 15-minute range. Cynthia found that if you use the 20-minute range, your odds increase a little bit. And she was actually right. I tested it myself, and that day's win rate does in fact, hey Cynthia, it does in fact increase. She was totally right about that. And awesome job, Cynthia. However, with the options we're using, because we're trying to get that 50% target, unfortunately, the 20-minute chart ended up getting us in a little bit at a higher price each day, making it tougher to hit the profit target. So here you can see the 15-minute entry candle right down here, and this is the same day using the 20 minutes, so you can just see the entry price is a little bit higher. Now this one probably would have hit, but on some days, it continues to here and comes back down. So this would be a winner, and this one would fizzle out. So overall, the profitability actually decreased because of the options we're using in the target. But Cynthia, you were totally correct, and I appreciate you sending in the email with this discovery. If you were to buy the breakout range and hold it for the day, Cynthia would be beating me right now. And that's why I appreciate you guys all coming here and emailing me and communicating, because it's nice. It's great to have my eyeballs on things, Nate's eyeballs on things, but we have 400 something people here, 400 more eyeballs on stuff. Makes it a whole lot better. So thank you, Cynthia. Secondarily, I tested using different range size minimums for entry. So yesterday, when I posted this in Telegram, it said buy puts, but I also noted this was a tiny, tiny range. And when I say range, I mean this first 15 minutes was only 0.1% movement. Typically, we're seeing 0.15 to 0.3%. This was the smallest range we've seen all year. And why that's important to me is because when it's a range this tight, it doesn't really have to move much to trigger an entry. It doesn't really have to show a breakout or break down in the markets, versus when you got a wider range, a stock really has to move to get out of it, if that makes sense. Versus tight, barely moves. So I went ahead and tested that, but there was really no conclusive evidence on a minimum range because it just kept us out of past winners. So it ended up negating some of our good winners. And so I couldn't find anything that really showed, hey, we definitely need to only trade days with the range, 0.15% or bigger. With that said, though, I spent all day yesterday running many different tests on this and night, and we did find something really interesting. There was a small price discrepancy yesterday between the SPY and XSP. Now, if you're not familiar, both of these track the S&P 500, just two different tickers to do it. SPY is your S&P 500 Spider ETF. You can trade the stock, options, everything. XSP is just options only. There's no risk of assignment, which I like, and it's got a good little cash or a tax advantage. We're 60% taxed at long term, 40% short term, or else the other way around. Uh, but it's got a little tax advantage into it. So I personally like trading XSP when I'm trading options over SPY because I'm just going to save some money and I don't risk assignment. However, when we look at the chart, so I've got XSP there and SPY. Take a look at this. Do you guys notice anything different? These are both 5-minute charts, both yesterday. Do you guys notice anything? I'm waiting to see in the chat if anyone notices anything. And I didn't notice this. Okay, Mark says 60%
Pick me.
long-term tax,
Pick me. Pick me.
40% short-term.
Pick me. I noticed something.
What do you notice, Nate?
I noticed that Graham, the XSP over there, has a buy put signal that the SPY never shows up.
You are right, Nate. Where is the
Wow.
buy puts?
Do I get a shirt? What do I get?
Yeah, I'll send you one of these. Oh wait, you already got one. Um, no buy puts signal on the SPY. It's kind of odd, right? But both had buy calls later on in the range. So I actually went back through the full year to date, and there's only 4 times that this happened where they didn't align, where one said buy puts, the other one didn't have a signal, which doesn't make really much any sense because they're both trading the same asset. They're both mimicking the S&P 500. They should have the exact same numbers on the charts. But we did find there is a very, very tiny, small price discrepancy some days. So what I did is I worked with the team and I said, let's just go back over this year and see if what happens if we only take trades when both align. So again, there was buy puts on the XSP, but not on the SPY. That would be an invalid trade entry because they didn't both align. Then buy calls here on the XSP, nothing on the SPY, but then buy calls, same candle, aligned entry, confirming that it's not some sort of price discrepancy giving us a signal. And so again, there was 4 trades that this happened on, so it's not a very common occurrence. But there were 4 trades in 2025 that this happened on where they didn't align. 3 of those 4 were losers. So that's pretty incredible considering that we've only taken 11 losers this year. We're able to take out 3 of those right away by just making sure the signals align. And then one of those was a winner that we would have not traded because they didn't align. So we missed out on a 50% gain, but we avoided essentially 300% in losses. And when you flip those 3 losers to 3 winners, that's a net increase of 400% by simply waiting for the trading signals to align. So I'm going to keep my current trade tracker up there. But if I were to follow this rule, noticing what I noticed yesterday, we would be 73 out of 81 so far in 2025 instead of 71 out of 82. So we're able to increase that win rate by simply trading when they're aligned. So this is my big discovery from yesterday. It's not something that I found in the back testing. I just noticed it on the chart. I said, wait a second, why is it on the SPY? So we look back and we just tested it again. Not very common that this happens. Happened 4 times this whole year. We're halfway through the year. It's only happened 4 times. But by making sure we're aligned, we were able to increase our win rate substantially. So that is my cool little thing for you guys. And you guys might be wondering, why aren't they the exact same? I actually don't know. I would love to know. I would really love to know because it was frustrating losing $1,000 yesterday, especially when I saw the buy call signal come up later. I always take the first signal. But then when I noticed this, it's like, what the heck? I should
I
have had a
mean,
big fat winner yesterday.
we assume they're different because of the stocks, or like the stock, right? Like we assume they're different because there's underlying volume trading, and dividends and everything going on with SPY, right? Even though they're supposed to track the futures the same.
Yeah, but I mean on a 5-minute chart.
Oh, I know. I'm
Yeah.
just saying some minor variation, I assume, is what's playing out there.
Okay, did the SPX align with the SPY? So the SPX did the same thing as XSP. I've just got it here. I'll show you. So here's yesterday. SPX. Let's go SPY. Got to scroll way back because it shows the overnight. So here's SPY, SPX, and then let me get back to XSP. So you see SPX, XSP said the same thing, but SPY only had buy calls. So now we're just going, after seeing that, we can avoided 3 losses of the 4 times that happened. Definitely a good sign to let's just wait for confirmation on all, well, just on these 2, because SPX and XSP should be about the same. So
And so today's entry, they both aligned at what time?
Uh, uh, um, so today's entry would have been here at 9:55.
Okay. And if you already get the call on SPY and the other one's a little delayed or vice versa, are you a little more aggressive getting into the next one as soon as you see it flash, or how do you
Yeah.
handle?
Yeah, especially if I broke it down to a 1 minute, I don't want to ruin these charts because it's going to disappear. But if I broke it down to a 1 minute, like at 9:52, we were like up here.
Hmm.
And so I've got a assistant. His name's Flo. He's awesome. He's been helping me with this. And I told him, like, let's buy, because we're clearly closing above that line in the sand. So I got in on SPX because I wanted to do more contracts where XSP he didn't get filled. You can see his limit order still sitting there. He was a little
Yeah,
delayed.
a little delayed. Gotcha.
He was about 30 seconds late to the ding, but I'm not going to give him a hard time. The guy's awesome. He's amazing. But I did beat him today.
Yeah. Flo's the goat. Well, Cynthia might be the goat. Flo might be
Oh
goat number
yeah.
two.
Yeah, yeah.
Cynthia built me a FAQ for Income Machine too. That's
Oh really?
currently in the members area. So
Awesome. That is awesome. But overall, guys, very, 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 very happy with this. Again, this number should be better with this new filter of just aligning both. And I don't know how you can get much better than this. So I'm super excited. I wake up every morning at about 8 a.m. I message our team. Nate's in the chat. I said, can't wait to make the easiest 500 bucks of my life today. Every
yep.
single morning.
And are you posting any of these trades officially right now, or
No,
just
I
kind of
don't.
the
And
ones you share?
people like Jason and Cynthia probably already know everything about the strategy. They've been going back and forth with me in the email, giving ideas and their trades as well. But I haven't been. I've done a couple here in Opening Playbook, but we are just trying to really polish this up, make sure it's 100% good to go before I just start giving it out to everyone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For example, like yesterday, I'm thankful I didn't send the options out to people because it ended up being a false signal, as we found out on the XSP and SPY price discrepancy. So working the little kinks out, and then you guys can start jumping in.
Love it. Cool. Well, guys, profit factor is 3.62, but we don't care about that anymore.
No, no,
We're
no.
in the
But I do
caged
care
world.
about this. This is probably my main number that I look at. Average return of winners and losers, knowing that this is a 60-minute, 90-minute hold. Wow. Wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow. I love it.
Love it.
Like I said, I wake up every morning at about 8 a.m. I send the same message. Can't wait for today. Awesome. All right. Well, let's go ahead and continue on with my number one July play. Nate's going to give his as well. I did this yesterday in the emergency roundtable. Hopefully you were there. And I'm going to have to pull up the prices because NVIDIA has already moved today. So if you're at the roundtable yesterday, you probably made some money already. But if not, we'll get you some new options. So I've been telling you guys the July heat is coming up. Actually, I've been telling you guys April and May, we were going to see all-time highs in June. And then about halfway through June, I said, let's push that back to July. June ended up being right. So I should update this chart. This was from the opening playbook earlier this week. We're about right. Wow, we're up here now. So July heat is here. July heat's coming up. Why do I say that? First half of July is typically the hottest time in the stock market. You can see here bi-weekly periods of time over the S&P broken down since 1950. First half July, red hot. I'm excited. Hopefully you are too. We just printed new all-time highs for the first time in months. Really exciting time to be involved in the stock market. And the second half of July is also bullish. If we look at the presidential cycles, July, bullish, whether it's a new president or a returning president, bullish, bullish, bullish. Every sector in July is bullish. Some of the top sectors that we've been trading, communications, financials, and technology. Today, this is from Tuesday. Sorry, I forgot this one was in here. Today, I'm going to focus on technology, which is our top dog. And we're going to take the top stock. Well, one of the top. Microsoft may be the top momentum stock in tech right now. But NVIDIA, Microsoft, both amazing stocks. So I'm going to stick with NVIDIA, who's making new highs again today. This was the play we took yesterday in the emergency roundtable. It's probably already up. Let me go ahead and check the prices on that one. It's just basically, yeah, it's at a buck 45 now. So it's up about, what is that? 16, 17, 18%. what this is, and I'll post this in here, and the debit has changed. Actually, let me just go ahead and widen it out and see what we got. All right, since we're already up, I mean, Nvidia's up at 157.20 right now. Let me just go ahead and adjust this if you didn't get it in yesterday. Oops. What I'm doing here is I'm playing off that July heat. We know July, first 2 weeks is typically the most bullish time in the stock market. And so I'm going to say that the most bullish time in the stock market is best for the most bullish stocks. Tech stocks are bullish. Oops, I should say this is Nvidia. Tech stocks are bullish. Nvidia is red hot. So I'm making a bet here that Nvidia gains about, well, now it's about 1.5% over the next 2 weeks. It gets above 160. And if it does, I believe that's 108% we make. Let me give you an exact number. Yep, 108% return on investment if Nvidia gains 1.5%. So I'll post this again here because just to make sure it's clear. That's my number one trade for July, knowing that we have the heat on the way. Let me just show you a chart. Nvidia. Let me do this real quick. Alrighty, here we go. Nvidia breaking out, breaking higher. If I'm right about July and we have some heat, I only need Nvidia. There's the 18th to get above where my crosshairs are right there to make 108% return on investment. I think that's pretty cool. It's basically just a wrap order, technically just slightly out of the money. Does anyone want a more aggressive trade? See it as the plan to let it expire. I'll give you guys a more aggressive one for fun, for funsies, and I'll just tell you how to set a target with it too. So let's say we're more bullish on Nvidia. Let me take a look at this. Oh yeah, 165, which puts you at these crosshairs here, basically just a continuation of this momentum. If we have a continuation of the momentum over the next couple weeks, this one stands to make 220%. Let me type it up for you. I'll post in the chat. This is more aggressive. Mine is, I shouldn't say safe, but um, pretty reasonable would maybe be the correct term for that. I mean, it would not be shocking to me to see Nvidia gain 1.5% over the next 2-3 weeks as it's up 1.5% today. But if you want to be more aggressive, take a look at this. We're going to look at the 18th of July again, playing off those first 2 weeks of June bullishness. And it's at 78 cents right now. 78 cents. And it's 77 now, so I'll just leave it at 78. If we're right, 220% on Nvidia. If Nvidia goes above 165. Profit Trader says Nvidia looks overextended on my 1 year, 1 day chart. Yeah, I would have to agree with you and also say, if I can get my chart to reset, Nvidia looked pretty overextended right about here too, and went on to go up another 50%. So it's just one of those stocks. I don't like to fight momentum. I don't like to fight breakouts. We have a breakout here. Yes, it's made an amazing run, but we know Nvidia loves to make amazing runs and continue higher. I mean, look at this bad boy. Woo! So I posted that one in the chat. If you want to be a little more aggressive, if you're betting on Nvidia by July 18th to be above my crosshairs here. If you want to, what you can do with that trade I just sent you is once you're filled, maybe you don't want to hold it all the way. Maybe you want to say, hey, if Nvidia makes some good moves here early on, just get me out. So what you can do is say, if you want a 50% target, 50% target, use good till canceled sell order at 117. So if you get filled on this, let me just get myself filled. Let me get two of them. It's at 76 cents now. Filled right away. So now what I can do is just set a sell order. I'm going to set a limit, good till canceled, and put it at 1.17. So now, if this option gains 50%, it'll automatically take me out for a profit. Now let's say I want to go for a 100% target. Well, you would just take that 78 fill price and double it, 156. GTC or 100% target, use GTC 156. So I got 2 contracts. I'm going to set the other one to get me out automatically if it hits 100%. So again, same process. I'm just going to sell it back, limit order, get until canceled, and put my price I want in there, 156. Send, confirm, and send. So now, with this more aggressive trade that I've given you, if NVIDIA makes that move early, it'll automatically fill. NVIDIA probably only has to get about here at any point within the next couple of weeks, maybe 10 days, for that to probably fill the 100% one. So there's my top plays for you. Well, top play for July is NVIDIA going off the heat here right now. Not seeing the trade for today in opening playbook. Hank, I'll add it. I just sent it in the chat. I'll add it up in the opening playbook doc next. PGR, Carla. I would probably sell today, Carla, if I had PGR and it's in the money or in between the strikes right now. I don't know. It's up to you at the end of the day. If you don't like to check your screens, Carla, on your PGR expiring today, I would look to close it out. It did have a pop to 264.29, but it's up to you, Carla. All right, Nate.
All right. Yeah, and Carlos, I think it's one of those things where obviously it can you're going to get in the back half of the day here in between strikes where the value can be between 0% and 100% minutes apart, basically. So that's just a matter of how much risk you want to take there.
Yeah, Bug says markets know when everyone thinks we're overboard and runs further to press max pain. Just the way we're. I agree, Bugs. I actually ran a quick test. I didn't test. I just asked Google's Gemini what typically happens in the S&P when it makes all-time highs. And it found that 95% of the time over the next month, it typically goes higher with an average of about 5%. So I think we are going to see a similar thing. I don't think we're going up in a way for the rest of the year with no down months in between, but I am very, very bullish and excited about July. All right, Nate. I know for you, the top play you're looking for right now is that weekend income trade, which we're going to talk about. It's hit 100% win rate. But why don't you go ahead and walk us through what else you like?
Well, I really like ANET. However, my trade is getting blown up right now. I'll show you in a second here. Here's ANET on the daily chart, just ripping through these zones. And kind of like Graham had talked about last week, it is kind of nice to see some of these hot stocks have a little bit of a breather here. Feels like you kind of gassed up the tank and they can make another run. And I think ANET is in that position. So this is it on the daily. If you flip one more slide, here's what it looks like on the weekly, which I really like how much room to run here on ANET we have on the weekly chart. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and set up more of a jump trade where we're going to target a really directional move, a big move in ANET. And the question is, one of the most common questions I get, okay, how the heck do you figure out where do you want to go? And it's not an exact science, but I just want to give you a very practical kind of walkthrough. So let's look at where we think ANET can go. Well, the average weekly movement is a whopping $11 on ANET. So ANET moves a lot. Now, of course, that's up and down, right? It's not like it's a net movement of $11. It's the average total movement in a week. But we don't want to have to nail ANET's top end move to be right? So we don't know. It's not like we're saying, well, hey, if ANET goes up $11 every week, it's going to go up $44. That's 40+%. We'll trade it 40% out of the money. We kind of want to back into a more reasonable move. So let's do some quick math here. So let's say ANET's average move this summer ends up being more like last summer, like July. So $6 instead of the $11 it's been ramping up to lately. And let's guess, we say ANET's going to be hot since we're very bullish. Let's say 3 out of 4 weeks will be up in July because we're really bullish. Well, let's do the math. So if it averages $6.50, again, much lower than it is right now, but more reasonable, and it goes up 3 weeks, 650, and then it goes down 1 week, 650 in that same range, what you end up getting is a total move of about $13. So again, very aggressive, 3 out of 4 weeks, all positive, kind of fills up that whole move. But that's kind of a way that I would go through and just pick where is my even, potential range here for ANET. So that's $13, which means we can target about 115 on ANET. That would be a little bit more. That'd be like $14 with the debit spread. Now you can go to this next slide. Unfortunately, this trade is already blown up because at about 9:35 a.m., ANET was at basically $100 even. And now ANET is at 101.62. So we've already moved 1.7% since about 9:35 or 9:40 a.m. when I put this trade on. And the mid price is already showing up about 50 cents. So we've already had about a 40% return since I put this trade together. So that debit's probably more like 155 or 160 right now, which means the potential ROI is going to drop down here.
222.
Yeah, still pretty nice. And then we'd move that GTC target up to about 350. So we'd still give ourselves, a nice potential return, but not quite as juicy as I really like the fact that it was pulling back this morning. I thought I was going to get you guys a really juicy price. Unfortunately, opening playbook starts at 10 and not 9:40. But there is a trade on ANET that I still really like. Guys, we're asking for a big move here. We're asking for, like a 14% move in ANET in July. Huge move we're asking for. Now, if you think that a 14% move in ANET is pretty aggressive, you're right. Also, keep in mind, ANET is up 17.5% this week. So, yes, 14%, big move. Yes, also, ANET is up 17% Monday to Friday this week. So, both things are true at the same time here. And again, I really like that weekly chart. One more, just as a bonus there. KKR is a stock I like. Just got some positive news with the buyout there. Kind of one of those boring news stocks. The weekly chart, that's the daily. The weekly chart looks smoking hot here. And I think we'll at least look for a run up into that 140 zone. That's the daily peak there. But actually, the highs are all the way up at 165, and we're getting a really nice move there. So if you like, some of these more news-driven stocks that you think can maintain some momentum, KKR is one that I like. Breakout on the weekly chart, which is one thing I always look for, that weekly close. Also has some of Lance's famous institutional options flown into KKR over the last couple of days. Nice little confirmation there. And so you could do the same thing. You could take a debit spread here at 139, 140. You could be more conservative, just do it at 135, 136, kind of in between that range. Or if you wanted to go super aggressive, go grab November 155, 160 calls and play it to the long term. So just a bonus pick there for you on KKR. Do you mind? Yeah, thank you, Graham.
There you go. That's the ANET one I posted in the chat.
Would you mind posting the trade sheet too? Since you have the
I'll do it here in a. Let me just do this.
And Barry's exactly right. ANET is not just hot, not just a beautiful breakout, but we've got the seasonality ripping. We've got the overall market seasonality ripping. We've got a lot of these stocks that were kind of lagging behind. AMD, ANET, those kind of stocks that seem like they're in catch-up mode now. So lots of reasons I like that one.
Cool.
Rafi and someone else asked about T. Yes, I'm actually about to close my T trade right now. I wanted to give it another minute, see if it could pop just 20 cents higher or so, and because I'm getting greedy on it. I'd love to get out for break even and keep my income machine win rate just totally pristine. But I might take a little partial loss here. What did I pay for? I think I paid 70 cents. So I might get out for like 68 cents and take, 3% loser here on T. For any of you guys who are in T, it expires today. I have the 27.50, 28.50. So I'm still 30 cents away from fully getting the money here. Keeping a close eye on it. It's bouncing a little bit. But I might go ahead and adjust my limit there and get out for 68, 69 cents if I can, and just minimize that loss. I was really getting greedy. I wanted to keep that win rate absolutely pristine on the income machine.
Yeah. Shame on you, Nate. What is it? 90%?
It's going to drop down to 92% if I take 92. Partial
Shame on
loss.
you.
Although it will make my risk to reward look better with a nice, 3% loss in there.
Hey, Dave has the 11th of July. I have the 18th of July T. So I wonder if we all looked at the income machine at different times and got T, but a couple
Well, you
different
might
options.
also have the conservative versus balanced
That is true.
there as well.
This is true, Nate. A couple more stocks for you guys, and we are going to move on next here to a cool weekend opportunity that everyone should take it part of. But I was just flipping through, Nate, when you were talking about these stocks. Let me give you guys a couple that I think are overextended to the downside and going to have an amazing. And when I say overextended to the downside, I'm not talking about a beat up stock here, but look at some of those stocks: Visa, MasterCard, Carvana. If you want to
Yeah.
go a little out of the money and maybe do some August options like Nate did with those that the ANET play there, those are tickers that I think will see a nice little springboard here over the next month.
Yeah. A lot of the financials. I mean, have you seen Goldman Sachs chart recently? It's a
Oh yeah.
monster.
Yeah.
A lot of
JP Morgan
financials
as well.
ripping.
Yeah, so there you go. Now there are some awesome opportunities to target cash over the next month or so, like we just shared with you. And I still like Progressive. We didn't get to talk about
We
Progressive
didn't
today.
talk. Neither one of us mentioned progressive,
Well,
which
I
is rare.
promised yesterday I won't bring it up again. I promised yesterday. Um, but does anyone here want to target some income over the weekend by Monday morning? A weekend trade that's hit with 100% accuracy so far on live trades. And I really mean
Oh, let's
100%
do it, baby.
accuracy. You can't expect that forever, but give me a yes in the chat. We already got a bunch of yeses before I even asked you guys to give me a yes in the chat.
Weekend cash is my favorite cash.
It's crazy, especially Nate, in 2025, we've seen some insane weekend volatility.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike 2024, 2020, like we had not seen that for years. But you're up 100% win rate so far in 2025. Love to see it. Well, if that's you guys, and you want in on the action, well, it all starts by taking a close look at this redacted document. What you're looking at here is a special perk set up by the Chicago Board of Options Exchange just recently. It's a perk that now allows everyday folks to target extra income over the weekend from any regular brokerage account. Now, I'm talking about payouts that the study shows were worth $1,030 on average in extra income each and every weekend. So this means while the rest of the world is left empty-handed on Saturday and Sunday while the stock market is closed, we have an opportunity to target some extra income over the weekend while still getting the most out of life. Like on August 9th, you could have taken a few minutes to place a quick trade before the weekend, hit the leg for some weekend fun. That's what I'm doing this weekend. And came back Monday with an extra $1,052 sitting in the brokerage account from the weekend income. Then the next weekend came, August 16th. You could have set your trade, caught the classic car show over the weekend, and woke up Monday with the crisp $883 in weekend income. Then a few days go by and you can do it all again. Friday, August 23rd, the next Friday, hit a few buttons on the phone or laptop to get in before the weekend hits. Maybe
That's what I'll
catch
be
around
doing
with
this weekend.
there you go. Catch around with golf with some friends. I'm too bad to play golf. I just go to the driving range and that's about it. Try and get past 10 feet. Dinner and live music for the evening and brunch the next morning. Whatever it is you like to do. When Monday came, instead of dreading the start of the week, folks could have come back to an extra $1,090 in weekend income. Pretty awesome. Now, before I get carried away, let me be the first person to say this. I'll say it again. Said it a few times today. There's nothing guaranteed in the markets. There's no instant income magic pill. Just like with anything in the stock market, there will be winners and losers along the way. That's why for the next few minutes, I want you to forget about being the next overnight millionaire because financial freedom doesn't happen overnight. It can happen bit by bit, weekend after weekend. And with what my special guest is about to share with you today, well, our hope is that your weekends could be a little more enjoyable, knowing that when Monday hits, we're out of the trade. So think about this. What if there was a way to target an extra $1,030 on average in extra income each and every weekend, all by taking a few minutes to set the position before the weekend hits and clocking out on Monday? Well, thanks to a shocking discovery found inside this special document by today's special guest, it's now possible. So welcome to the quick presentation we're going to have here on weekend options so we can get you set up with the first trade, your first trade to take before the closing bell today. Now, like I mentioned a moment ago, My name is Graham Lindman. You might recognize me from my flagship strategy, the Perfect Apple Trade, which has reached over 100,000 people worldwide, or maybe you've heard of my wrap orders, which has helped folks see doubles in their trading. Now, given my track record, I don't normally take trade recommendations from other people, but the premise of this new way of generating income over the weekend was so different that I had to explore it. It's a legal way to target extra cash over the weekend while most folks are out there making zilch. I don't trade over the weekend, I'm making nothing. So, if you're looking for a way to target some extra income to maybe pay for everyday expenses or just boost up the retirement nest egg or just grow the account, that's what I like to do, just grow my account, then this may be perfect for you. Now, the man behind this discovery is no rookie when it comes to the stock market. Not only did he publicly grow a $10,000 stake to north of $50,000 over the course of about 4 months, he did it publicly in Telegram, but he also earned another $100,000 last year in his investment and dividend portfolio alone. And over the last few years, he's been on a mission to help everyday folks tap into the same methods that have been kept away from the average Joe. And just hear some of these stories. These are people who've been taking these weekend options, by the way. Cindy made $1,200 last week. Karen, a winner as you know, made $1,230. Carl says Nate and his team are doing a tremendous job, up over $4,000. Now, those are some of the stories from students following along with none other than the up and coming trading icon,
Wow,
Nate
trading icon.
Tucci.
Wow.
Yeah, and look at that smile. What a good
Uh,
smile there, Nate. Look at that.
icon. All right. All right. Well, as always, great to be on Opening Playbook and giving out opportunities. And thanks to a huge room today. Love it that you guys are here on a Friday. And today, my goal really is to empower you. That's what my goal is with everything I do, and to show you after just a couple minutes and a couple